One interesting tidbit to note. Oh, it looks like we start. All right, right off the bat, we're going to be doing what is the Wrinkly Safe. Basically just allows you to avoid all of the text that she has to say. All right, and we are entering 1-1. Interesting about these first two worlds is that you're primarily going to be seeing warp barrels. You don't really have to play through much of the level at all, these first two. So as I was saying before the race started, one interesting thing to note is that we have a U player and a versus a J player. There are some differences between the games. A few levels have a little bit of variance on just how some of the enemies are laid out. Some of the tricks are different as well. In J, you will see Bleak skip in World 5. As well as a different chaos fight between J and U. There's no in-air team throwing in J that you get in U. So you can't do a zero cycle chaos quite the same way. Looks like Blue's got a little bit of a lead right now, but anything can happen the next 50 minutes. Here we're coming up to our first boss, is Belcha. Basically, you smash the barrels, throw the bugs in the mouth, and then Belcha burps backwards. Do that 2 times, and you're through with the boss. If you miss, you end up with an extra cycle. It's a little slower. Not too fun. It is possible to soft lock the game here if you grab the coin at like the perfect time. You just kind of fall into the pit and you get locked there. Really not much you can do other than reset at that point. It's quite unfortunate that happened. It appears Demon missed the 2 cycle. So we're going to see a little bit of an extended Belcha fight here. And see how Belcha kind of hops forward after every couple of... Oh, we got the teeth. And so on blue screen right now, you're seeing the first of World 2. Barrel Shield Bust Up. It's kind of got a little bit of a teaser of the platform we're going to be seeing later on in the game. But World 2 is also full of warp barrels. Alright, it looks like Demon finished up Belcha there. We'd be moving on to the next world. See, Blue is entering the Squeals on Wheels. It's a very good level. So not too much to say. These next 2 levels that you're going to see Blue enter, Springing Spiders and Barrel Brawl, I believe, are very short. The warp barrels are basically right at the start of the level. Let's get a very nice, easy in and out. The boss that we're going to be seeing coming up here in World 2 is Eric the Spider. There's a trick that you can do where if you throw Dixie up and to the right, you can skip the little green balls or pellets that he spits out, cutting down a lot of time. And you'll see Blue do this in a moment. First thing you want to do is you have to grab the first barrel off his back, hit him with it, and then you start doing this up throw. You can jump off and then hit him from below before he even has a chance to start spitting out those little green pellets that they normally force you to wait for. Oh, that was close there. You nearly did not get that last chuck up there. Now we see Blue headed back to Funky to get the next boat, the hovercraft. It's got very tight controls, very easy to drive, very fun to float around on. Now we're going to be heading into World 4 first, Mechanos. This is the start. I always feel it's the start of the run where you actually get like true platforming, as opposed to just warp barrels all over the place. For those asking if what happened to Germ and Oni's race, they are still racing. Germ is not streaming, so it is not being featured on Speed Gaming. They are still playing. So here we see Blazing Bazookas. No, Fireball Frenzy, I'm sorry. Just a lot of jumping, a lot of rolling. You have to dodge the fireballs, otherwise you take damage. There is a damage boost coming up to where you can get onto this rope that goes across the right side of the screen faster by damage boosting onto it after the third set of owls. So there's one, here's two, and then he's going to damage boost here to avoid going to the left and then having to cross the rope all the way to the right. It saves a couple of seconds here and there. It does look like he got the fast cycle there with you can just kind of spin right on through. Now we're headed into the first auto-scroller, Demolition Drain Pipe. Blueberry's avoiding getting Kitty there, I believe saves time. As well as every time you jump off of the upper rail, you gain a little bit of momentum. So just trying to do that as quickly as possible helps speed you up a little bit. But this is the first auto-scroller, one of two in this world. The other one is Ripsaw Rage, which comes after this. Nothing too crazy going on in these levels. Here we're gonna see Demon gets the damage boost, where he is waiting for these fireballs as opposed to jumping on through them, as well as just waiting for those last two to land before going on through to avoid getting hit. We have Blueberry entering Ripsaw Rage. Other fun level, interesting little tidbit in this is really can't do much to speed it up. There are some rats in here that if you kill them, it kind of lags the game for a couple of frames. So by not killing any of the rats, you can save, fraction of a second. But unfortunately, there is no current technology to skip past it, make it go faster, speed it up, See the Demon got the backup Kitty strat in this, which is very viable. Gotta play it safe sometimes in these races to avoid having an unnecessary death. It's like a nice little insurance policy. Oh, Looks like he clipped into one of the holes, but he fortunately made it out the second one. Sometimes you can get trapped there and get dinged twice and get a nice little death and have to redo most of the level. Feels pretty bad, but that extra kitty saved him there. So we have both players. Ripsaw, like I said, this is one of the longer levels. Not a ton you can do. There are some zips for this, but the problem is you have to wait for the camera to load in sprites, so even if you were to get to the top, you wouldn't be able to actually do anything. This is Blazing Bazookas that Blue is entering. You can do some pretty neat tricks in here. You also get kind of the quirks between J versus U ropes in this. The way you kind of handle the ropes is a little bit differently, to where in the U version, at the end of this level, there's a little jump that you do up on to grab a rope. Sometimes it can glitch out and cause you to get stuck, and you get blasted by some TNT. From what I'm told, that happens less frequently, if at all, on J. Alright, now we have Blue entering into Low G Labyrinth. The gimmick here is that you obviously, there's less gravity, so you can jump higher, but you also move slower. So there's a lot of vertical in this level. The second half, you take control of, was it Quacks, I believe? But you can do some interesting things here with Dixie. You can kind of flutter over all of these buzzsaws, so that way you don't have to jump up and down there, which is faster. So that's the first half. Here's the second half. You are the parrot, and kind of the gimmick here is that you have to fly around all these bees. Time things nicely to kind of basically just be able to keep moving continuously. One interesting thing to note here is if you line up the bird in the middle, you can avoid having to go left to right. Same thing here, you can line this up to not take damage between those two buzzsaws. Skipping a decent portion of the level. I don't think we will see, yeah, so in the U version you would damage boost here to get Kitty for Chaos, the boss fight up ahead. But in J you don't want to do that because the strat is different. You need Dixie instead. So I'm not super familiar with the J strats here, but I do believe you could use Kitty rolling like this to get up and jump on top of Chaos's head early before he puts out his little spinning blades to, you know, do how you normally do it. So there you saw, like, that's what a normal cycle would look like for him. But here we see Blue skipping that and hitting it early. We will see a different strategy come into play whenever when Demon battles Chaos. One thing to note too is an optimal U version of Chaos is faster than this version of the J. Let's see Demon grabbing the halfway point there. It's a nice little safety net should things go wrong in this and you don't have to redo the entire level. Alright, and that is World 4 for Blueberry. He will now be going into World 3, which is Cotton Top Cove. So another interesting thing is that we play World 4 first before World 3, mainly due to the difficulty and you can have in World 4. So most of the levels are, some people would say, more difficult in that world, as well as Chaos being harder than Squirt, which is the boss of this world. But yeah, here is Baz's Blockade. Kind of the gimmick here is it's the first underwater level you play in any percent, but you have these Bazas kind of, you know, go left to right or right to left on screen, and the idea is you're supposed to wait for them, but if you know the pattern, you can kind of get ahead of them and skip them or just ultimately avoid them. So like there, you can do a little bit of a camera manipulation to keep them from spawning in. You can also go down the right side as well, but most of the optimizations in this level kind of come from just taking these corners really tightly, not losing momentum by accidentally nicking anything. If you hit into the walls, you will lose your momentum, as well as just being able to time things out. You can do a little camera manip there to get a good cycle and get past that first line pretty easily. Oh, here we see Demon on the left doing the air hover U tactic for Chaos, where basically you can just kind of keep throwing Dixie in the air and keep you there to keep you above his head to get multiple hits in. Ideally, you can do it with one cycle, but it is extremely difficult. But it saves a large chunk of time. Blueberry just entered Rocket Barrel Ride. This level is pretty straightforward. There's a couple of damage boosts. You're going to see one right here to basically just skip a barrel and save a little bit of time. But it's a lot of fun platforming in this one. This is another level that kind of the tactics in it play out differently at the end. You have to damage boost at a different spot to end up with Dixie for the next level, whereas in J, you take damage at a different spot than you normally would because the bees are different at the end. Here we just kind of have some bees, kind of hop around them. Fun little skip right here where you can basically skip that whole tier of waterfall and just throw Dixie right up. So in you would have deboosted on that B, but instead you deboost there, because that B's cycle is different in J than U. Here you're seeing Creeping Class on blue screen. Take this level as solo Dixie because Kitty's chunkiness kind of really causes the game to lag at certain parts of this because of there's just like too many moving things on the screen for the Super Nintendo to actually handle it well. So it is faster doing it just with Dixie. Also, Dixie's rope handling is much faster and much more satisfying. So here, normally if you have Kitty on screen, your game goes to a crawl. We're also seeing a little trick there from Blue. Basically, you can roll through, if you land on the leftmost edge of that platform, you can roll through those three enemies, kind of get ahead of the fish that's waiting for you in the water. Just speeds things up compared to the rope section there. Tracker Barrel Trek is another level that's a little different on J versus U. The cycles for some of the bees and the barrels that you're in kind of change. Interesting gimmick here is that you just have these barrels that you control left or right, and it auto fires you out as soon as you enter. So you can do some interesting things with either damage boosting or skipping them. You also skip the optional Ellie barrel. She is, or I guess Ellie is much slower, and you are unable to do some of the tricks as well. Here, we are deboosting to avoid having to go under those bees, and instead you can just go right across them, as well as, oh, there's a trick there where you can roll out past the barrel and into that bee. So you avoid the barrel completely, just kind of deboost over and flutter over to the edge with Dixie, saving a couple of seconds. Blue is now entering Fish Food Frenzy. The gimmick here is the angry fish is now a happy fish so long as you feed your fish. Basically, the little green clownfish make him happy, and the urchins make him mad. He kind of goes through, is it 3 states? There's blue, there's like a bluish red, and then there's dark red, or like a light red, and then a dark red. When he hits the dark red, he will damage you. But routing for this is pretty simple to where you don't really ever have to worry about him turning completely red. This is probably the closest point that he gets to, but then up ahead there's a couple of fish that you can get to very easily. So it's not really ever a threat. Oh, here we see Blue waiting to have him eat that fish. Otherwise he would have popped red on the Lurchin and killed him. Alright, Blue is entering Squirt. Not really sure what Squirt is or why Squirt is, but yeah, you can basically see the gimmick here is that he shoots out a little stream of water and you have to run around it. He will pop his eyes out and you shoot its eyes. And you do this 3 times and that's basically it. Fairly simple boss. Only real dangers are not jumping high enough and falling into the hole. It's definitely killed a good run or two. Let's see, if you look on the left, oh, not going for that B skip. That's okay. Alright, so now that Blue has collected both pieces of the Turbo Ski, we go back to Funky Kong to get our new and improved Turbo Ski boat. Basically with that, you can go up waterfalls now to access the next tier and get to K3. Here we have a very Dixie-friendly level. A lot of ropes. You got these clasps that kind of chase you around on the ropes, but using Dixie here is very important. She is way faster on ropes than Kitty is. There's nothing too crazy that happens in this level. It's just mainly optimizing your jumps, knowing where to go, where to like dismount appropriately from the ropes in order to get on to the next one as quickly as possible. The demon is in Fish Food Frenzy. Avoid the Lurchin. Also has Dixie. Blueberry taking a damage boost there to avoid having to go all the way to the left onto that platform, and then it also sets you up to have Kitty for barrel drop bounce, which is in 2 stages. Ooh, Demon taking a little bit of damage there, but that's okay, he's almost at the end of the level. Here on blue screen we have the, what is this, I think the 3rd auto-scroller, Tearaway Toboggan. The idea here is essentially just get to the end of the level and go under the houses and you go faster. Jump up hills, I think, also makes you go a little faster. Then we can see Demon again, or not again, but battling Squirt. Yes, that is a good point. Possible intentional damage to have Dixie for World 5. One thing to note is at these spots here where the hole is and the the 1, 2, and then 3 Kremlings are running across, if you mistime that, you can very easily take damage in there. But it's not too hard of a thing to get right. We have blue entering barrel drop bounce. This level is very dependent on having both Kongs and Dixie and relies fairly heavily on the team up throws to avoid certain sections of the level. You can basically, there are low points there where you can throw Dixie up onto a higher ledge to just straight up skip part of the level. You'll see that again coming up here. Oh, here blue stream is frozen. Oh, and we're back. So this is a little trick here. I can explain it more once when Demon gets there. Kind of sad we missed that though. It's very fun, clever use of the team up throws. But we're back. So now blue is entering Crack Shot Croc, which is a fairly difficult level. You play as Squitter, and the idea in this is that you are making a lot of, it's basically the Windy Well of DKC3. You're making a lot of platforms instantly underneath of yourself to just try and get across the level as fast as possible. It basically involves smashing the left and right button, bumper buttons, as quickly as you can in succession. There are a couple of intentional damage boosts in here. That was not one of them. Well, maybe it was. But yeah, you can stand in the middle of these strawberry milkshake pools to not take damage, and then you can also do a little damage boost there on that bead. The other gimmick is you have the crosshair following you around, which shoots the little fireballs at you. If you don't, not moving around too much. As for why Dixie is purple, there is a color code that changes the color palette of the Kongs. If you notice, Kitty is also like a yellow-blue color. Oh, okay, we're good there. Blue having a very good crack shot. That is what you like to see. And also with the Dixie for Lemguin Lunge, another fairly straightforward level. It's got these little Lemguins all over the place, sliding around. This is very much a classic roll and jump right here. Just a lot of rolls, a lot of fluttering, a lot of jumping, a lot of Lemguin death. So after this comes everyone's favorite boss, Bleak. In the J version, there is a frame-perfect trick. It's called Bleak Skip. And basically what happens is you try to die as quickly as possible, and if you press the start button on the J version on a specific frame when you die, the game thinks that you beat Bleak instead of dying, and so you just skip Bleak, which saves a boatload of time compared to the U version where you have to fight all of Bleak. So you see here, Blue's going to take damage. He hits Bleak to get Bleak to throw the next snowball faster. And... okay, did not get it. So, you kind of see this a lot to where you just kind of keep dying in Bleak over and over again, but it's to try and get this skip. Did not, so that's 2. And the way the math checks out on this is if you get it by the 4th try, you basically don't save any time compared to the fight. If you take longer than that, you lose time compared to just fighting him normally. Oh. Oh, okay, that's number 3. This is attempt 4. This is giving Demon time to catch up, but Demon also does have to do the actual fight, so... I think that was attempt... oh, there we go! Attempt number 4. Alright, if you look on the left side of Demon's screen, you're seeing what we missed in when Blue was originally there. You can hop on these barrels and throw Dixie basically up to get on top of one, and then hop up onto this ledge over to the right, which essentially takes you to the end of the level. Blue has entered World 6. The gimmick in this level is that you are Quox, who is Squawk's purple twin brother, or sister, twin parrot, who cannot shoot fireballs, but instead you have that fireball power vested into your feet, and you can actually pick up barrels. But you really don't pick up a lot of barrels in the run. You also damage boost a lot. And then you avoid the copters. Some interesting tricks in here to where basically there's enough room around the edges of some of these buzzsaws that you can... oh, and you got above the copter there. That's what you like to see. But yeah, you can basically skip around these without having to actually use the barrel the intended way. So see, Demon is in crack shot. Seems to be going fairly well for him. About at the... well, he's going for the safer strat there of just straight up webbing over. Blue is taking the chairlift to burn your rope. Another auto scroller. This time you are scrolling along on a rope that is on fire. Not a whole lot goes on in this. You have some bees to dodge, some rope switching you need to do, some copters to avoid. They kind of come down randomly, or not randomly, they're, you know, predictable, but they usually come in from the top of the screen, and so you just either swing left or right to avoid them. Edelon is asking what quite happened so far. So far, Demon had a bad Belcha fight. He missed 2, maybe 3 of getting the beetles in, and then the teeth came out, so we had to reset that. Basically die in the fight, and then refight Belcha. Oh, now we get to watch Demon hopefully get the first try Bleak skip. Since this is the U version, you can't do the skip, so you skip the skip and just do the fight. But the idea is basically you hit Bleak in his little panel thing on his scarf. And he kind of does this it's a set pattern of cannonball or snowballs he shoots out, and you basically have to hit him 3 times. He does 3 different cycles for it, so looks like you got a good hit there on that second round of like the snowball fight. Alright, Blue made it out of Burn Your Rope. So now he's in Floodlight Fish. The gimmick here is that there are these little fish that you hit that light up everything. Oh, like Demon got first try, Bleak skip. Very nice, so we move on to World 6 now. But yeah, the gimmick in Floodlight Fish is that you are Eduardo, and you hit those little glowing fish, and it makes the screen light up. But if you know the level, you don't really need to see anything anyway. Or just turn the cam up on your TV. You're good to go. There are some moving lurchins here that can be a bit of a struggle to get past. If you hit them while they're closed, you take damage. So a strat that some people use is to basically just wait a second, like you let go of the down button to kind of get a free hit off on them. That's more important coming up here, where basically you would normally have to wait. But hitting them allows you to just keep going. You're supposed to wait in these little like side nooks, but that's slow. Alright, we're done with Floodlit Fish. And we also are starting with Dixie for the beginning of Pothole Panic, which has an interesting kind of gimmick to it, where you're normally supposed to play squawks, but if you do a little trick here, you can avoid it and just go straight over. So normally you get squawks down there in a box and you fly through this part, but doing it with Dixie is faster. It also kind of allows you to get through this segment a little faster. One interesting thing to note there is those birds are different in the U version compared to the J. You do not have to hit that second bird in U. It is higher up. As you see, we're back on our good old friend Eduardo. Nice little optimization you can do there to avoid hitting that the bounty fish. Now you just kind of play through the rest of the level, skipping the rideable Ellie. Play some Kitty. You can do a little water bounce here to get up to that faster, as opposed to going around the side and doing a team throw. Pretty straightforward. Oh, now we are entering Ropey Rumpus in... Let's see, yeah, okay. So, in both versions, you can do a team-up throw. It's I believe, I don't think it's a double frame perfect trick, but it is a frame perfect trick where basically, if you press the jump button and then the team-up button almost instantly after, I'm not sure if it's a frame or what the actual differences are, but it allows you to team up and you jump higher than you normally would, so you can hit that barrel there and skip the first half of the level. It was very nice too. I believe it looked like it was 3rd attempt. I think by like 16th attempt it kind of washes out and it ends up being faster to just do the level. Here we are entering boss number 6. This is Barbos. He has 3 phases. First of which is you hit these little lurchins that come out into the purple ones, and you can knock them out of the way so you can poke them. The way these come out is RNG, and it looks like he got a bad cycle. Also a bad first hit. The first one did not hit. But if you get a good cycle, you can basically get both of those urchins knocked out immediately. Interesting little trick here is if you line this up correctly, you can just have those purple shells knock the... Oh! Alright, still got it knocked out of the way. Normally they kind of follow you around and then they flicker, and then when they're done flickering they change to solid color, and then they will kind of just shoot in a straight line at whatever they are pointed at. Here you can see, though, that on the third phase, he shoots out these little pin missiles, but you can really easily avoid them by just kind of hiding above where he shoots them out of. Now we have Blue entering World 7. Man, World 7 is packed full of gimmicks. Each of them fun and interesting as the last. So the gimmick in this first world conveyor rope are the conveyor ropes. They either move forward, which it's faster to ride on, or they move backwards, which is slower to ride on. But it's just a lot of good rope play. So Dixie really shines in this level. This is a fairly difficult to execute using Kitty. And you can see as well, Blue is skipping Kitty there. Oh, I believe I missed. Oh, we got Blue accidentally entering the bear cabin. That is, oof. Feels bad. Now we are in Spooky Caverns. Fun little gimmick are these little RNG barrels that spawn in and out, and there are several spots like this to where, oh, they basically turn randomly in different directions, so you can't quite predict where they might go. Some of them have like set cycles, so like after the fourth or fifth row, it'll, you're guaranteed to get the right direction you're looking for. There are also the troll barrels in here too that are essentially just pointing at the buzzsaws. And so if you mistime your jump, you'll land in it and die. See, Demon is in Floodlit Fish. Made it out of that successfully. Let's see if he goes for the Pothole Panic type of skip. Okay, so you're seeing the way the level was kind of intended to play on Demon's screen with squawks. Oh, and on Blue, it's a nice little D-boost you can do there to avoid that segment of ghost barrels. Really helpful. It makes it very consistent. No timing issues you really have to worry about, aside from the invulnerability that you get. Here we have another fun level. It's called Lightning Lookout. The lightning tries to guess where you're going to go next, and so it'll position itself there and then strike. If you get hit by the lightning, take a damage, you lose a Kong. Bad times. We got a D-boost. There's several in here. Which it might seem risky given the seemingly random nature of the lightning, but you can actually... Oh, that is not good. The death by Blue. But as I was saying, you can manipulate where the lightning is going to go, basically by changing your direction, changing your speed. So if you kind of do things optimally, you will essentially know where the lightning will spawn. Ooh. See the lightning clipped the barrel. He's not going for the damage boost now. Looks like he just wants to go through, get the level over with. I do not blame him at all. This level is notorious for being a little bit of a struggle. One interesting thing too is whenever you take damage or pop a Kong barrel, the lightning kind of will not strike for like a set amount of time, so it's kind of like you get a little like cooldown there. which can be really nice. It takes some of the stress out. So here we're gonna see him deboost again through that. Under the B. That's what you like to, and in between. Alright. Ooh. And that is Lightning Lookout. So we have Demon entering Barbos. Let's see how the Lurchin spawn looks. Alright, we have Blue entering Coin Dozer. It's kind of level where the little DK coin dudes are out for revenge. They will follow you around and knock you back into those holes. So kind of your placement's optimal. We see that Demon is doing the safe strat for Barbos there. Entering in phase 3. And it appears that nice. We got Blue exiting Coin Dozer without a death. It's always important. And here we have the last level of any percent. Poisonous Pipeline. It looks like a normal water level, but it's not. Your left and right buttons are essentially swapped, so if you hold left, you go right, and if you hold right, you go left. That's about it. Fortunately, this level is not too complicated. You get Endguard for a very significant portion that kind of cuts down the kind of complexity of like what you would have to normally do for fish patterns. You can just use his charge up and just kind of cheese it through the level. See that Blue is not doing that though, that's okay. Really helps you just bypass a lot of the stuff, a lot of the baddies. There are a couple of perilous moments in here, but if you time it out well, you can kind of go through everything in one cycle. See, Demon is on conveyor. Seems to be going smoothly. Oh, see the left-right control there, switching or messing up Blueberry a little bit. He was holding left to go to the right, and then whenever he jumped out of the water, he was still holding left, so then he started actually going left when he was out of the water, missing the platform. Always gets a little funny to have happen, too. And you can see here, we do a team-up throw over Chaos to avoid these missiles he's going to shoot out, and you get this second barrel faster to initiate the second phase of the fight. And this is the final boss. This is the King K. Rool of Donkey Kong 3. It's very important to have Dixie for this second stage of the fight. Do a lot of platforming. The fluttering is pretty much essential to doing this segment quickly. You can also use her hair there to get these early hits and really set him up for optimal placement on the next phase. Very nice. You got the second barrel right where you wanted him. You can see there that, oh. Alright, he did not get electrocuted. So we are entering the next phase of the fight, where basically you can cheese it with Dixie and just jump on that switch right away to get a very fast hit on K. Rool. Really takes out a lot of the waiting that you normally have to do. That's kind of a faster strat there. You don't have to wait on the electricity. You can kind of hit him all in one cycle, basically as fast as you can. And this will be the third and final hit. And will... Oh, that is what you like to see. Nice run, Blueberry. Sub 50. That is awesome. The done button on him. I don't know what that does, but... winner. Alright. Now you just kind of get the outro credits. See, Demon is on Lightning Lookout. Couple nice runs in the chat. Very impressive, the 49.57 in a race. That's with a death even. That's awesome. World record currently is about a 46.30 something, I believe. 46.38. It's held by the Dragon Sweemind. Legendary player. See, the Lightning is trolling Demon. Can't quite get the manipulation to work out along with those beetles there to get over, but he made it work. Gotta wait on the buzzsaws there. It's another not so fun thing about the Lightning is if you're in the water when the Lightning strikes it, you do take damage. People are busting out the Sabapings. That's what you like to see. And like that, Demon made it through Lightning Lookout. Only taking a damage. That's good. Never wanna die in that stage. It's always feels pretty bad. Now we are back into the Coin Dozer Carnage. Alright, we are through segment 1. Coin Dozer that usually is fairly dangerous. If you hit on the Coin Dozer awkwardly, they can hit you kind of at like a 45-degree angle, and then you just end up dying. This, I would say, is segment 2 that is very difficult, but Demon successfully made it through. Now we are back in the Poisonous Pipeline with more left-right gimmick shenanigans. See, Demon is skipping Eduardo. Going for the straight-up Dixie swim. All right, he cleared that little segment. All right, now Demon is at the final boss. We shall see how this goes. All right, now we are on to the real fight of the boss. Ooh. All right. Oh, that is what you don't like to see. This fight is very difficult without Dixie. Also missed the barrel throw. So he's gonna have to wait and get the next see. Yeah, he's gonna have to follow him, pull the lever. Oh. Had a death that might actually be good to get Dixie back. I do know if you lose Dixie right away, since you don't have to fight the actual Chaos Robot, it can be better to die and get Dixie again, just because of the amount of time that you can save with her compared to Kitty. Oh, Demon missing the back throw there. It's interesting that you can face to the right, and because Dixie's hair actually pulls the barrel with it, the hitbox moves with it too, and you can actually hit things back there if you're holding a barrel, which is faster than throwing it forward at K-roll. Just gets the pop off a little quicker. Ooh, took some damage there. Fortunately, I think he has one more hit left on K-roll. There you go. Nice run, Demon. With a 58-48. It was a good matchup. I'm not sure if there's going to be interviews. There we go, done number 2. Ooh, that killed the audio. Interesting. All right, well, thank you everyone for tuning in to the Donkey Kong 3 any percent tournament group round match. If you would like to know more about Donkey Kong, check out DKC Wiki. You can find that on the Google. It contains such information as the strats that you saw used here for Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, 3, and partial for the mobile games. Looks like Demon is in for an interview, so stand by for that. Oh, maybe not. If you would like more information on the tournament itself, feel free to check out, what is it? speedgaming.org/DKC3. That will provide the links to the upcoming matches that are scheduled, who's playing and whatnot. Trying to see how I can get a link to the actual leaderboards for that. Feeling I will probably be muted if I post it in Twitch, but we will try it anyway. Post that in the chat. Chalong code is GM or CGM for ZBR. If you would like current standings. Other than that, I think that is that. I do not believe there are any interviews. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, I am Red Otter. You just saw bluebeary26 versus DemonBattler. Blueberry taking home the gold.